So we have been waitlisted for speed dating. I guess way more women than men signed up. So unless a lot of men sign up before the event, we don't get to go.
How to get waitlisted at an event? It's embarrassing. It's screaming desperation. But men are desperate ones.
One time I showed up to a speed dating event that I had to apply for, interview for, and pay for. And 3 out of the 8 men at the event were randos that were pulled off the street that day.
Sounds about right. And what did they offer them to get them in there? We'll give you a free drink. We'll give you a burger and fries. Anything to say that we had some men there. Our event is going down the tubes. We're just trying to save face at this point in time.
We've been waitlisted for speed dating. I guess way more women than men signed up. So unless a lot of men sign up before the event, we don't get to go. But I guess I'm glad that they do that, because if I showed up and there weren't very many men there, I think I would be very disappointed. Several of you actually told me that you got canceled on because not very many men signed up. And then one person said that they went and there just weren't very many men there. So I would prefer the way that I'm doing it. If there's not going to be very many men there, then I don't want to go. I also can see that it's probably not something that a lot of men think to sign up for. I mean, it took me a while to realize that it was a thing. I don't think they do a lot of advertising. So I don't know. I mean, I wish I knew if I was going or not, because then I could maybe make plans to do something else. And this way I just kind of have to leave a hole in my calendar. And I also don't know when I'll find out. So I guess we'll see. Don't worry. If I don't get to go to this one, I will absolutely do it again. It is absolutely something I'm interested in trying, especially since I've never done it before, but the future remains in question.
Y'all see all of this and y'all still don't put 2 and 2 together. That if a man sees this and he doesn't come, he's thinking maybe it's a drag. Once again, instead of revamping or revitalizing their marketing strategy to men, they leave it like it is. And now these women have to be waitlisted because men see it and like, I'm not going. I think I'll go get a burger instead.
Theories on why men do not go to singles events. I'm going to give you a breakdown of 4 different pools or categories that they all fall in, and I'll just kind of go into detail about why they're in this category. So one of my mutuals said that she went to a singles event recently and she noticed that a lot of men don't show up to them, and just that the ratio of men to women is off by a lot. So category number 1 is the men who do not need to be there. So I call these the all-around great men. So the all-around great man consists of good character, emotional availability, emotionally in tune, career-oriented, family-oriented, monogamous, just all around a kind, caring, good man. So that pool of man does not need to go to singles events. They don't need to be on dating apps, because their energy and everything about them is just going to exude out in the world, and they're going to attract women everywhere they go. So this means like at work, if they're at the gym, if they're at a sporting event, like if they play on a rec league, women are just going to gravitate towards them because they can feel the energy, they can feel that he's a good guy, and they're going to want to date him. So those men, they're not going to be on dating apps, they're not going to be at singles events because they just do not need to. They're going to find their women in everyday life. Number 2 is the Bachelor for Life. So the Bachelor for Life obviously does not need to go to a singles event because he is not looking for a relationship. This is the situationship type of guy. This is the guy that is constantly going through the cycle of talking stage, first date, situationship, talking stage, first date, situationship. And it just is a continuous circle because they're not looking for a relationship. And the reason these men are so successful at the situationship or Bachelor for Life lifestyle is because they lead with, I could possibly get into a relationship with you, but their intention is to never actually be in a relationship. So they keep women hanging on just by a little bit. Like they throw crumbs enough for the woman to think that one day he'll come around. These men are also single for life because they have this idea of a perfect woman in their head that doesn't exist. So from all of the women that they've dated, they take little pieces of their personality that they would want in their ideal woman. But because the ideal woman doesn't exist, they'll never find her. So they just constantly go from woman to woman, hoping to find the perfect woman, to find a woman to fit in that box that they've created, but it just does not exist. So they just repeat the cycle of first dates, talking stage, situationship, friends with benefits, and no woman is ever good enough to give commitment to or be in a relationship with. So these men are not going to be at singles events because they a lot of times are in friend groups that are co-ed friend groups where the lines are blurred between romantic and friendship. So the friend groups are very like flirtatious. You're not sure if like his girl best friend is actually his best friend and things like that. So the third pool of guys are the guys who have a fear of rejection. So a lot of men can have fear of rejection for many different things, but I'll give you the top 2 in my book. Again, all of these are just my opinion. So number 1 would be the man who's never approached a woman a day in his life. And because he's never done that, the fear of rejection has grown and grown and grown as the years have gone by. So this means like middle school, high school, college, and adult life, he's never approached a woman. So because he's gone so long inflating this idea of what rejection will be like, the fear of rejection has become so big that it trumps him ever approaching a woman. And it's interesting because women are socialized to let men down kindly because for one, we're scared of being, you know what, if we say no. And number 2, we're also just socialized to be kind or to be nice even when we're uncomfortable and we don't want to be kind and nice. So that fear of rejection is just irrational in my opinion because most women do let men down kindly. And I'm not going to say there aren't women who can be mean when they let them down, but I do believe that it's warranted because we have evidence of women literally being unalived just by telling a man no. So there are men who just have that fear of rejection and would never put themselves in a place to be rejected. Another man that would be in the pool of the fear of rejection is a man who has been rejected a lot in his life and he's just over that. So because he's been rejected so much and he's trying to avoid further rejection, he's not going to put himself in a situation where there is ample room for rejection, like something like a singles dating event. The last pool of men are the men whose egos will not allow them to be at something like a dating event. It could be because they think they're too good for it or because they just don't want to be seen asking for help. To conclude all of that, I also think there are men out there who just don't care to date and don't want to date, and that's why there's a hard time in bringing them into something.
I think for some of these modern women, it's hard for them to believe that men, they're just tired of walking into a bill, as one man said. They can't believe that a man is okay being single. They think what they have between their legs is so powerful that for a man to resist it, he must be swinging for the other team.
Why men aren't really showing up to the dating like events and the dating scene right now. And I feel like it's really because the return on investment on dating right now is so low. Like men just don't see the point of going to dating events or speed dating or anything like that because it's like, okay, I go to this event, then it's like maybe this works, but at the end of the day, I lose out on most of the financials behind this experiment. Like I'm basically funding this experiment. It's like maybe I get something out of it, maybe I don't. And at the end of the day, I feel like I lost the most. So the return on investment is just so low. And secondly, I feel like over the last couple of years, men have just been like really in tune or working on themselves to say. And really it's because like, you know, you go online, you see men advancing, you see men trying different things. And I feel like being able to see that also creates a different like reality for them. Like, okay, maybe I don't have to like chase women right now. I should chase this. Or I see other men doing it like this. So it kind of gives different example of like how men can occupy their time outside of women. And lastly, I feel like it's really because men kind of saw how how women were bashing men, saying, oh, a man is broke, a man is this, kind of like belittling. And that kind of like, if you really see that kind of example of men being degraded, that kind of makes you check out a little bit. Like if you really think about it, men are like, well, if I don't have this amount of money, or if I don't have this stature, or that, if I'm not this tall, if I don't make 6 figures, well, I might as well just relax and enjoy my money and my height and my, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it just makes them check out. And that all kind of goes back to why they're not showing up for these things. Because it's like, if I'm 5'6" and I don't make six figures, why even bother? Like, you know what I'm saying? You kind of just have to mind your business at that point.
Modern women don't seem to understand that when they organize these events, like he said, the return on investment is so low. It's got to be there. I honestly think that if you have something that men are actually interested in, they'll come even if they don't find a woman. They're looking for a woman, but they'll say, hey, bro, man, we had a great time. It's a great hangout spot. You can meet some nice ladies. You can have a lot of fun. You can meet some other guys there and just get out and socialize. But most of this is created in favor of women. So men are like, I'm not going to that. That's lame.
And here's why I think we're doomed to be single for the rest of our lives. That was a bit dramatic, but let me tell my story. So I went to singles night at Union Church's Charlotte campus. Now, I don't go to that church, but I started following Pastor Stephen since he was a guest pastor at my church earlier this month. And when I found out that he was writing a book on dating and relationships, I was interested because, listen, your girl could use some divine intervention in that area. But I'll be honest, I didn't want to go at first. I figured it's a Christian singles event. There's going to be 11 women there and like 2 men. Plus, they were advertising it as a conversation that you wouldn't expect to have at church. And I thought, I've heard enough of those modern dating and relationship podcasts. I don't need to hear any more, especially not with a biblical spin. Instead of having meaningful conversations about finding and building Christ-centered relationships, the event was a Q&A about superficial stuff, like mostly whether to settle for someone who does not earn 6 figures. Like, that seemed to be the hot topic of the night. People were asking that same question over and over again. And honestly, all that I took from it was that we're focused on the wrong things. You know, as Christians, we're called to be set apart. We're supposed to focus on things like love and faith and character, but we're focused on the same worldly things as everybody else. Money, status, height. It just feels like we're missing the point when it comes to dating entirely. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that finances don't matter. I think it matters when you're building a life with someone, but we're not even at that level. After the Q&A, there was supposed to be a mixer, but I didn't know what was going on with that. There was no clear direction. We exited the auditorium and we were ushered out into the lobby. You know, people were hanging out, taking pictures, waiting to get their books signed. I saw a couple of church hugs, side hugs, but I don't know that I saw any like actual connecting or like men and women like talking to each other. It's like we can't or we won't even have basic conversations, but we are so concerned about earning potential. We got these bingo cards that I'm sure were meant to break the ice, but I don't even know if that was mentioned. The prompts were simple, like, what makes you smile? Or do you have siblings? Just followed on Instagram. But nothing about them seemed like they could spark meaningful conversations or show that someone was set apart or serious about their faith or even dating or like interested in dating. And yes, icebreakers are meant to spark conversation, but it was just so surface level. Like, where was the depth? At an event like this, I would have expected more encouragement to actually show who you are in Christ or to like have meaningful and intentional conversations. Again, we're meant to be set apart, but what was the difference between this and a regular singles mixer? And let me know, because I don't think I've ever been to a regular singles mixer either. And to be clear, I'm not critiquing the pastor. Like, even he seemed a little frustrated with the money conversation that kept coming up. Really, I'm talking about Christian dating and how things just seem off. This event could have been a great opportunity for people to connect in a meaningful way, but instead, like, it just felt like going through the motions. So I ended up leaving the event. It was late and I wasn't sure what was happening, but Now I'm wondering if I missed out on something, because I've seen some clips from the DC version that happened the next day, and it seemed like a whole different vibe. It looked like there was an actual mixer and people were encouraged to actually talk to each other. I saw a clip of the pastor taking a camera from a guy who was probably on the production team. He's asking him, like, do you dance? And then he like pointed him in the direction of a woman to like get them to dance. Wonderful. I don't think that happened at Charlotte. At least it didn't happen at the Charlotte event while I was there. But to be fair, I wouldn't count the entire thing as a waste. I got to connect with some amazing Christian women who I'm looking forward to staying in touch with. One of those women actually goes to my church. She sat next to me. Like, we go to the same campus and everything. What are the odds? I also met another woman who goes to the host church, and I would love to visit the church one Sunday and hang out with her. Even though the event missed the mark for me in some ways, I am grateful for those connections. But DC, Charlotte, what was your experience? Did you feel like the event lived up to your expectations? Did you connect with anybody in a meaningful way? Did you play bingo? Well, and for everybody else, what do you think? Are we focusing on the wrong things in Christian dating?
So you're probably doomed to be single forever, because that divine intervention you talk about, you don't listen to it. You would rather have that divine intervention grab you by the neck, put you in a headlock and say, that man that's making $50K that you think is an attractive man, but he only makes $50K and he's 5'9", that's the man for you. Somebody has to physically, in a lot of these cases, force you to continue seeing that man until 3 years down the road, when you're finally with him, you're like, oh yeah, I guess he is a good man. Yeah, this is the man that I've been praying for. 3 years to finally see that. But men are supposed to be patient those 3 years until you get your head right.
If you're single and you live in Chicago, this message is for you. We have 3 different singles events this month, and we'd love for you to join us. We'll be having a mixer with fun icebreakers, a wellness yoga event with post-class coffee, and we'll be hosting one of our most popular events, speed dating. So if you're tired of the dating apps and want to meet people in person, don't wait, grab your tickets now, because we want you to find your person in person.
Dating in Connecticut is trash. Someone peed in the dating pool. I don't even know where to find single people to date in Connecticut. These are all things that I hear from my single friends and single acquaintances and single strangers in Connecticut. And I get that. But what I don't get is y'all have all of this stuff to say, but y'all don't go out. Like, hear me out, okay? Hear me out, okay? Being somebody who recently moved to Connecticut from California, it's a big change, right? Like, California, we have the good weather, there's more events, there's more things to do. So I get that. I get that it's freezing cold half of the year here. So why would you go out? But at the same time, it reminds me of like those movie scenes, those like cheesy, I don't know, think High School Musical or something like that, like where the screen is split, they're both singing or talking about how they miss their lover and they want them back and they don't know when the right time is to talk to them, but they miss them so much and they don't know what they're thinking, but it's like they're both doing the exact same thing at the exact same time at home. Like that's what Connecticut is giving. Connecticut is giving High School Musical love story. Because what if you just opened the door, put on some layers, and popped up, and your soulmate was there, or your person was there? Like, what if they're just sitting there wondering where their person's at? They are sitting there wondering where their person's at and just not finding them because it's cold. I don't know. That's just some thoughts that I had. And that's part of why I am doing this event, First Impressions, because I want to bring back in-person dating. I want to elevate it. I want it to be a safe space. I want it to be classy, chic, fun, sophisticated. I want it to be supportive of all communities. And I just think that's what Connecticut needs. But I don't know. You tell me what you think. That's just my thoughts. Don't come for me. That's just my thoughts, okay? Still new to Connecticut, so still learning everything. But that's just what I've gotten so far. So, yeah.
I feel like a lot of these women do go out, but when they go out, they don't want to be bothered. There's a lot of good women that stay inside. There's a lot of good men that stay inside and are staying single. But the women that are saying, I want a man to approach me, where are all the good men at? I'm going to Home Depot, I'm going to Lowe's. They're there. They are at the grocery store. The fact of the matter is you guys don't want to be bothered. Y'all don't even want to say hi. I was walking in to return something to Amazon today. Old man, didn't even know him. I look up, I say hi to him. He says hi to me. Done deal. But if you do that to a modern woman today, she's going to have a hissy fit. How would you get to know anybody if you have a fit over somebody saying hello?
To attend 2 different dating events this past week in Atlanta. And these experiences really put into perspective just the overall dating climate. I thought I was going to come in there and be the bomb. When I tell you I was humbled. A certain group of women told me that my shoes were not giving, meaning that my shoes were not up to par. I was wearing some Air Jordans, and apparently I had a crease or 2 in them. I don't even know why you're looking down there. Really? And just tonight alone, I had 4 different women. None of them knew each other. Okay, these were 4 separate conversations where all 4 of them said, you're so handsome, you're well put together, you seem like a great catch, but I'm just not attracted to you. I'm sorry, I can't. And you seem like a great guy, but when I tell you, humbling. A very, very humbling experience. Another woman literally said to me, nigga, why is you talking to me? Because we're here to mingle. That's what we're here for. What? Ironically, the best conversations I had at both of these events were with women that I had no intention of being with romantically. Beautiful women, don't get me wrong. But I asked them, I said, why are y'all single? And they told me, well, the men that we like don't want us back. I looked around and there were so many guys that were just standing around. And I walked up to them. I said, hey, man, how are you enjoying the event? And they are nervous. They're dealing with all these different feelings and thoughts. And that's when it hit me. I'm really not that special. Because there's some woman that's probably attracted to me that I'm not attracted to. And so the cycle repeats itself, so on and so forth. And ultimately, everybody's just trying to find their person. It just is what it is. But I recognize for myself, right, that I am the most happiest when I am not chasing, when I'm not out here searching for love, when I'm not out here seeking it. I thought that by almost 30 years old, that I would have my person by now. I'd have a house with a picket fence, a marriage. I thought that I would have these things acquired. But I had to let go of that timeline and recognize that we're not living in the same world that we grew up in. And that's just the fact of the matter. But ultimately, when you get past all of the need for romance, need to attract someone, need to come across as a viable option, and you get down to the heart of the matter, that's where the truest, most genuine relationships are formed. I'm going to spend more of my time with my creations because I feel that they give me and bring me great joy. More joy than trying to be enough for somebody. And if I find my person, hey, cool, it happens. But if not, I'm good. I'm really good. I mean, tonight really, these past couple nights, but really tonight opened my eyes to a lot. The highlight of my night was actually finding my birthday twin. This girl, she had the exact same birth date as me, even down to the year. And then we went to go tell one of her, not close friends, but affiliates, that we had the same birthday. And she asked, when was our birthday? And then she said, I got the same birthday. So all 3 of us had the same birthday. And then later in the night, I was telling another woman that birthday story. And she said, oh, when's your birthday? And I told her my birthday. She got the same birthday, April 2nd. We all 4 of us got the same birthday. Other great connections that I made were with guys who were in the same boat as me. Guys who were like, hey, let's come together as a group and go over to that other group of women and let's talk to them and chat it up with them. I definitely wanted it to be something where it was a little more interactive than what it was. It was kind of cliquish. I don't need to pay to attend a dating event to see you see the person across the room and then not speak. Like, we're good. I got all these other events to go to if I want to just do that. But kudos to everybody else for continuing to put yourself out there. I hope that everybody finds what it is they're looking for. But as for 2025, F Valentine's Day. Stay focused on your mission. Stay focused on your passion. And I feel like you will find it when you're not looking for it, because I know that that's cliche to say, but every time I've tried to put myself out there for it, every time I've tried to like get out and get involved, it's just when you're trying to make it happen, when you're trying to, I said in that clip, be intentional, oftentimes, I don't know what it is about energy, but it's like it pushes it away, you know? But when you're out here connecting with people, making great, genuine connections with nothing in expectation, not trying to attract anyone, not trying to entice anyone, I think that's where the best relationships are formed. And hey, should they, you know, culminate in something more, or should they progress, then cool. But if not, you're not tripping. You're not worrying. You're not looking at yourself, re-examining yourself, trying to see, okay, do I need to change, you know, the things that make me me? Am I not good enough? Am I not worthy enough? Because everybody's number one in their life. Everybody is feeling like they're not worthy enough for the type of person that they're trying to attract. But what's meant for you will be for you.
You're highlighting exactly for men why they don't go. And for women, if they're willing to listen, why men don't go. Like he said, what would you be doing looking at his shoes? They were Air Jordans. Air Jordans cost a good amount of money. But yet and still, modern women find a way to make fun of men for no apparent reason. Just because they think, as he said, they have to humble men. They have to be more superior to men. They have to figure out a way to elevate themselves over men so they can be seen as the prize, rather than just being a normal person.
Don't lie. These dating events, man, they put you at a disadvantage, bro, as a male. And the biggest reason is because it's almost like you're coming up to these women like, please pick me. This is what I have to offer you. And it's almost like you're having to showcase yourself, right? Whereas if you're just building yourself, you're building your brand, building who you are, you know, just building you, woman comes across that. She can see it. She already sees what you're about. The right woman will want to get in line with your program. The right woman will want to fall in line with what you got going on. You don't have to come to her showing her, hey, like this about me, like that about me. These are good qualities that I have. The right woman is already going to be looking and is already going to be able to pick up on these things that you have. And either she wants to get down with you or she don't. And that's just really the biggest fact of the matter. And that's what I'm starting to understand and realize the more I live on this earth, is that the right one, you ain't got to prove yourself to. Your actions and who you are and the things that you've accomplished will speak for themselves, right? But going to a dating event, it's almost like you're at more of a disadvantage, man, because people are looking for perfect, you know? Whereas if you approached her, I'm not gonna say in the grocery store, but like somewhere else where she's not expecting to look for Mr. Perfect, and she sees you and she sees, hey man, you got some great qualities, you know, she's more likely to at least give you her number.
I like what he talked about when he said doing you, building yourself up instead of chasing women around, instead of trying to peacock in front of these women. They're looking for the best dunk. Oh man, can you hit a home run too? He just hit a home run. He just hit 2 home runs back to back. Can you hit 3? Somebody impress me, so we can laugh as if you're down there in some sort of coliseum for a show for them. Just go out there and do your thing, be humble, move in silence, and they'll see you walking around and want you. And after that, shouldn't be no nonsense that they got going on, and you weeding out the people, the women with the loser mindset that always want a man to think or be obsessed with them, and they ain't gonna do nothing for a man. Stay to yourself, man. Do what you need to do, and you won't be worried about these, like I said, women with loser mentalities.
I'm going to a speed dating event tonight in Perth. The event is called One Rose. I am nervous, but also really excited, and I'm going to bring you along. Also, this is what I'm wearing. This is so cute. This is so much fun. I've had some really good chats with everyone, but there's one guy I kind of have my eye on. Was it Flume? No, it was Doja Cat. It was Doja Cat. Paint Town Red. Thank you. I got a rose. Can I give you my rose? Guys, that was so much fun. I highly recommend going to one of these events. Go and check them out. They're called One Rose.
First of all, she's dressed very nice. I think she's cute. I think a lot of men will see this and say, man, I think she's pretty, but I just don't know if this is worth it. I just don't know if I'm going to get a return on investment. Now, she seems nice. Seems like she's very grateful for the rose. That same rose, a lot of modern women would say, ugh, what is this? Or they might say, well, thank you for the rose, but you're butt ugly. Get away from me. And both of those scenarios for men are like, why would I walk into that? So they just rather stay home, not worry about that, and enjoy their life. This is why a lot of men are not going to singles events. Until y'all start changing it up, switching it up to favor a lot more or market it towards men a lot more, you're going to get a lot of the same results.